Hi. With everything that's going on right now, you're not allowed to leave your area. So if you want to do any trips, they got to be day trips. But that's okay. I live in the Niagara region. What could be better? So I'm going to go for a nice ride to Niagara Falls, check out some of the sights. Why don't you come along? Let's go for a ride. I started out heading along the Parkway from Fort Erie, heading towards Niagara Falls, our destination for the day. This is a north direction, which is the same direction the river flows. Lake Erie empties into the Niagara River and it flows all the way down to the falls, which is 30 kilometers away from the opening from Lake Erie. The total distance of the Niagara River from Lake Erie all the way to Lake Ontario is 58 kilometers. That distance along the Parkway is very scenic and it's a really nice ride, especially if you follow it on a really nice day. There's a lot of great places you can stop and relax and enjoy the river. Once you get a little bit closer to Niagara Falls, you'll start to see the mist in the distance. That's just the mist coming off of the falls from where it goes over. Once you see that, welcome to the falls. You've still got a really good view as you come along the Parkway. There's a spot there where you can catch the WeGo bus. That's the tourist bus that'll take you anywhere in the area. Now you're going to notice me changing directions because I wanted to get a better shot of the scow. That's a barge that in 1918 got stuck 2,000 feet before it went over the falls. Also, you've got the Niagara Power Generation Station there, which is a very old generation station that was in use from 1906. It was designated a World Heritage Site in 1983. There is a lot of history in Niagara. Whether you're in a car or on a motorcycle, riding along the Parkway right beside the falls is a great thing to see. The sights are amazing, but no matter how amazing it is, remember, walking along there you get a much better view and it's so much more enjoyable. One thing I'm going to point out is that you're not seeing an awful lot of people right now. This is because we're still in the middle of a travel ban, so the people that you're seeing are from the Niagara area. On a normal summer weekend, the traffic is unbelievable and it takes you forever to get from one end of the falls to the next. After riding the length of the falls, I turned around and came back to a parking lot just upriver from the falls. After parking, I was right at the Incline. This is something that's been in operation since 1960 and it was refurbished in 2013. This goes up 196 feet to the top of the escarpment. Once you get up there, you can go and check out all sorts of different things like the Skylon Tower. It's 775 feet and 2 levels of fine dining. This restaurant revolves 360 degrees every hour, so no matter where you're sitting, you get a great view of the falls. This is just one of many places you can check out on top of the hill there. Now looking back over to the falls. Oh, sorry for the distraction. There, back to what we came here for. The main attraction in the area is the Horseshoe Falls. It's one of the 7 wonders of the world. It's 170 feet high and 2,700 feet wide. There is 3,160 tons of water flowing over the falls every second. For a little bit more perspective, that's 681,750 gallons of water per second over the Horseshoe Falls. Now, not to be outdone, the American Falls and the Bridal Falls has 75,750 gallons per second. That's a lot of water. That's a lot of force hitting the gorge. When the water goes over the falls and hits the bottom, it's created a depth in that area of the same height as the falls. 170 feet below the water surface is where it goes to. So now you get to see a picture of the American Falls as well as the Bridal Falls. That small one on the right is the Bridal Falls. The Americans don't have as good a view of their falls as we have of ours, but they do have something so that they can see it. They've got that observation deck. They can actually walk right out and they're right beside the falls. When you're on that observation deck, you get an opportunity to look at how wide the American Falls are. The American Falls and the Bridal Falls are 950 feet wide. One of the things Niagara Falls is famous for is people going over the falls in a barrel. Many people have done this. Not everyone was successful. Check out our blog for more information about the people that did that. If you're just here for a day trip, one of the things I would recommend is avoiding Clifton Hill. Clifton Hill is the ultimate tourist trap. If you want to enjoy the day and see some lovely scenery, this isn't it. If the kids see it, sorry, I can't help you. This area has all the restaurants you need. You have Boston Pizza, Rainforest Cafe, Burger King, and a Hard Rock Cafe. If you're a true Canadian, don't worry, there's also a Tim Hortons. Don't worry, there's other ways to lose your money as well. There are wax museums everywhere you look. You can go to the Movie Land Museum, you can go to the Criminal Hall of Fame Museum, Castle Dracula, Tussauds, Ripley's Believe It or Not. There's even a Guinness World Records Museum. I swear if Clifton Hill catches on fire, it's going to melt, not burn. Not ready to leave Clifton Hill yet? Don't worry, there's even an arcade. The best view of the falls is on the Niagara Skywheel. It's 175 feet above the falls. You've got the Speedway, which is a go-kart track that actually goes a second story up. You've also got mini golf. What adventure is complete without a dinosaur-themed mini golf course? Let's not forget about the Midway. This is probably not the proudest moment of Niagara Falls, but if you have the time, there is an awful lot of fun things to do along Clifton Hill, as well as Victoria Avenue above it. Back on the Parkway, we started heading north again. We got to Maple Leaf Place, and I had to stop for a minute. This was because, again, I got distracted. One of the things that you'll see an awful lot of when you're riding down the Parkway in Niagara Falls is all sorts of car and motorcycle clubs. Every type of exotic car you could think of has their own club. I came across these guys and they have this great old car club and they were out for a nice ride. The Maple Leaf place was closed, so they used this parking lot to take the opportunity to take a break, rest for a few minutes, wait for a couple of other members to catch up. These cars and the motorcycles I saw earlier were only a small example of what I saw while we were out for the day. I missed the opportunity to film the Corvette Club that went by, and I also saw a group of people that had very expensive, very exotic cars. So if you like this sort of thing, you're never going to be at a loss for seeing something really interesting. Now, while I was checking out these cars, Shelley went across to the walking trail along the Parkway. We're only 6 minutes away from the falls by car, and we found a great spot where we could park the bike, and we started to walk along the gorge there. Now, the Niagara River at this point is traveling at about 30 miles an hour. That's pretty quick, but if you want to see it close up, once you get into Niagara on the Lake, There are river boats that you can take. These are speed boats that will allow you the opportunity to come all the way up the river, almost all the way to the falls. There's so many different ways to check out the rapids and to check out the falls itself. If you have the time and when they're open, there are so many different things to see along here. The walking trail that we're on actually runs all the way from Fort Erie into Niagara-on-the-Lake. That's the full 58 kilometers, and you can enjoy the walk from any different spot that you want and take it for as long as you want. You're always right by the river. All the way along here, while you're looking across, you can see the American side. Depending on where you are is depending on what you're looking at. Buffalo, Niagara Falls, New York, Lewiston. When you're able to cross the border, there's an awful lot of things that you can see on the other side as well. As much as the ride is enjoyable, this is a really nice area just to go for a walk and take in the scenery. That's something Shelley really enjoys doing. I like it as well, but Shelley's a very outdoors type of person, and lo and behold, a gardener. Leave it to her to find some wild bearded iris. I was going to impress her with what I knew about these, but unfortunately I know nothing, and I didn't even know what they were until she told me. There's all kinds of different flowers all along the parkway. If you enjoy nature, this is a great way to go. We're going to end our trip for today right in this area here, and we're going to head for home. Now, a little bit of a note, because we are so close to the falls, I did make an extra trip so I could get some shots that were off peak time, because otherwise you wouldn't have been able to see everything. I hope you enjoyed the trip. Well, that was Niagara Falls. Nice day trip. Something that you can do anytime you want. If you're in the area, you can spend a day there. You can also spend an awful lot more time there if you want to. There's much more to see than we saw today. But it was a great ride. Thanks for joining me.